of young players anyways, but there are a few that haven't. Do you make a concerted effort in this last game to try to get some snaps for them, or do you just play this like normal?
Yeah, we're just going to play it like normal. We're going to play the people that they're most deserving to play. We've played most of them anyway, outside of the offensive linemen. And I just think sometimes it's more harmful than helpful to play guys really early in their career at that position.
You mentioned emphasizing enjoying this
Yeah.
week and having fun. Anything different that you do, like away from football a little bit, to try to get with the guys and emphasize that?
Yeah, so we'll do a Thanksgiving meal on Wednesday. We've got some more meals during the day and stuff. We try to do some competition type things with the guys. It's a short week, and we're kind of toward the end of a long season here, and so we'll have to be really intelligent with our practice plan. It can't be as physical as you'd like to be in a normal game week, especially today, because today needs to be like a Tuesday in your prep work. And we usually have some contact on Tuesday. We won't do that today. Tomorrow will be probably our only contact day of the week, and so we're just on both lines, and in the secondary we're really we're thin, and we need to make sure we get to the game on Friday as healthy as possible.
Neal, along those lines, that's something that you probably dealt with for a while. How much of I know what the word is, speed bump, I guess, just having practice numbers and having to shift things and manage for, I'm guessing, many, many weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge. I think the way that the college football is now, where we have transient roster, I'm not sure we're probably not the only school that's dealing with it. We've had some injuries at certain spots that's made us extremely thin. So what we've attempted to do is make really good use of some pre-practice walkthroughs, and then we try to get some good full speed work, good on good, because where it's really affected us is our scout teams. Our scout teams they're giving great effort. We just don't have the team speed or the size on our scout teams that you really need to get prepared to play. So we've had to do a little bit more good on good work during practice. So what we try to do is not be out there as long, but really be efficient when we're out there, and then make more use of walkthrough times.
Does it make things harder? Obviously it does, but if you're trying to get technical on things, let's just say run blocking, it's hard to accomplish that.
It is, because we get a false sense in practice when we're going against our scout team. And then it works well when there's a lot of carryover, Mike. So, let's say we're playing a team that's very similar to us offensively, then the good on good is quality work for both sides. When a team is significantly different, then you're taking away from one side's work. Does that make sense? But I think it's a challenge. I don't know if it's unique to us, but it's definitely been different. We've had to practice differently this season, especially probably the last 6 or 7 weeks of the year than maybe we're accustomed to.
Motivation. Obviously, TCU has something concrete to play for.
Yeah.
What's the key to having that on this?
Yeah, I think that we're trying to get better. If you look at it, we got most of our teams back for multiple years. And I think we just talk about this steady improvement that we're trying to make and finishing the year right. I believe our guys will show up and they'll play hard. Really the only issues I've had with our team is how we played early in the Texas Tech game. And so I don't know why this week would be any different. I think it's about two things as far from a motivation factor is sending the seniors out on a positive manner, and then having a point, kind of a building block going into our off season, which is really important for us.
Quantico, Raines, and Jordan Jefferson played a lot for you for most of the season. Haven't played really the last couple games. Situation with them?
Yeah, so Jefferson has been beat up a little bit. Now he played 8 snaps in the game and gave us some quality snaps defensively. Raines didn't dress. I think Raines trying to figure out what he wants to do. I haven't talked to him.
Talking about Rex, how nice does it feel to put a long snapper out there that you never really have to worry about?
The thing that Rex does that probably is different is he really runs well. I don't know. I hadn't looked at the stats this week because it's on a short week, so I've been kind of scrambling. But Rex was our leading tackler on our punt team I know 2 weeks ago. That's unheard of. Coleman right there snapped at Kentucky. I think he had one tackle his whole career. But so that's really I think that really speaks to his athleticism. We're able to do some things on punt team because of his athleticism that other teams can't do. But he's been extremely consistent. He's going to play in a postseason All-Star game. I think he's got a chance to play, do this. Now, it's different as long as there are only 32 of them, in the NFL. But I think he's got a chance to do this post-college.
Neal, has the Big 12 changed since you last coached in it?
Yeah, I think from top to bottom, this league is. I think it's tough week in and week out. You're playing 9 games. You play your conference games 9 in a row. I think there's all your road trips. There's some different challenges in all of them. I think the coaching is at a high level in this league. I think that there's some innovative things being done on both sides of the ball. I think the defenses are playing better. I think that there's a lot more emphasis on special teams maybe than when I was here last in 2012. But I think this is a challenging league. Somebody asked me on the teleconference last week, if you can make it through this league and you come out, then you're battle tested. Because I don't know if there's a week off.
Along those lines, I don't know if you saw the scores last week, but they weren't very high-scoring games. Mm-hmm. You seeing a philosophical shift a little bit maybe with the way the league's playing?
I think it's a lot cyclical, really. I think there's some really high-level defensive players in our league right now, especially on the defensive fronts. And if you go back and you look at those teams that are in the top of our league defensively, they've got some difficult one-on-one matchups up front. I think the league's is officiated different too, and I think that's probably a factor in it. They're letting them play on the perimeter, as far as hands on the receivers and things like that. I think that limits your big plays. But I think there's some really good defensive coaches in our league. I think that there's some players, especially on the front, that are making a difference. I think all of it's kind of combined.
On that subject, are you able to disclose what, or if you had a conversation with Greg Burks about?
Yeah, no, I'm waiting on a call back. So I was hoping to do that before this, so I could kind of tell you what I got, but I have not.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of sneaks, right? I mean, you see the 2 the other day. Oklahoma has one that's everyone's debating. Outside of a camera dangling above the line of scrimmage, is there any way for that to be?
You have one of those.
Yeah.
You have one of those a lot. So to me, it's a glass plane. All right, it's a glass plane. So if the ball breaks the plane, it's a touchdown. I don't necessarily have I thought the crew the other day. I don't have an issue with the crew. I just don't know what replay's role is. That's the question for me, is where does replay fall into it? Because I thought both those plays, replay clearly showed the touchdown, the sand that I thought was a touchdown, and I thought on the first quarterback sneak, the ball clearly, Jarrett's picked up out of the pile with the ball across the goal line. That's the way I saw it. Now, I haven't gotten any explanation from the league on where that's at. I'm sure they have a good one, but I don't have an issue with the crew. I think the game's really hard to officiate. I thought Cooper Castleberry was the ref, and I think he does a good job managing the game, does a great job communicating. But I don't know where replay, how that factors in.
Yeah, the game this weekend, obviously, but moving forward here, what are you looking at with recruiting? I mean, how big is the next couple weeks going to be, and do you think you're going to save some scholarships possibly for some transfers?
Yeah, so the next couple weeks leading into December 18th is going to be huge. We'll be on the road full time starting on Sunday when the contact begins. We've had a couple recent commitments that are important. I think we'll have a couple more here in the next week, 10 days is the hope. And then we need to finish strong. I think I like the guys we have committed. They continue to play well, and as either junior college second-year players or high school seniors. So, and we follow them each and every week, and so proud of the progress they're making. But we definitely have some positions in need, without a doubt. We've got to make some improvements. We've got to make some strides and add some bodies on the offensive line. We need to we're thin in the secondary, so we got to continue to add bodies there. But yeah, we have every intention of finishing strong. As far as holding scholarships, we always do that to a certain extent. How many, not sure yet, but we'll definitely hold at least one or two.
How much value do you get in practices? I know coaches talk about the practices leading up to the bowl game.
Yeah.
Is there more value maybe in getting your guys out and recruiting the extra time that you have?
Well, when you go to a bowl, you do both. You do both. And really, you do both your bowl practices kind of weekend oriented. Then once the recruiting period goes dead, it's kind of when you do your. I think there are some real positives for bowl practices. You know, I'd be, you know, I would. There's some benefits, you know, without doubt. I don't know if anybody uses all 15 of those. You know, you get 15 now. I think that the game's changed. You know, my approach to bowls is quite a bit different than some coaches. I treat them as a total reward. We practice quick. We don't really wear pads. We work our developmental squad about 25, 30 minutes every single day, and it's legit football. We put pads on, but the guys that are playing, we don't even put on pads. We just get ready to play, and we played really fast in bowl games. But the fundamental work with the developmental squad, we'll miss that. We'll have to do some. We'll have some catching up to do. You know, I think that's probably the business. You know, there's a couple things not being eligible for postseason play. Number one is the guys don't get that reward, and then number two, you miss some developmental time without a question.
Back to recruiting and Rex, is that the most difficult player on this roster to replace just because of
Most difficult
the specialty that it?
Well, we've got some guys on our roster we feel good about. We got two guys in Poland and Hadley that have both shown the ability to do that. They just haven't done it in a game yet. And so I think that'll be one of the best competitions we have in the spring. But we do definitely have some guys that we feel are more than capable of filling that role. Can they do it as well as Rex? To be determined. You know, they haven't done it.
Do you think the NCAA should look into changing the idea that they reward teams that are good and punish teams that are bad, practice-wise, as far as bowls go? I mean,
I think it's
good teams get
Yeah.
3 more weeks.
I think that's, you know, I'm for it. I mean, I think, you know, to the winners go the spoils. You know, I mean, you earn the right to get those extra time, and I think that's we all know the rules when we started playing. You got to get to 6 to be bowl eligible. We're not going to get to 6 this year, and so I think that's fair. The rule that I think that needs to be looked at, and I think they are looking at it, is I think football, just like all the other sports, should be able to have some developmental time with the coaches during the off season, during the winter and in the summer. Not contact oriented drills, but fundamentally work on fundamentals. No different than what basketball can do and the other Olympic sports.
Yeah, was it crazy to think that in an emergency, Rex could have even played linebacker? I mean, he's running downfield, making tackles in space,
Yeah.
and he's not the smallest dude in the world.
He's big. He's really big. He played basketball at Rhode Island, you know. So, we really hadn't thought about it. He has done it. He's really done a nice job since January of changing his body. He's gotten significantly faster. But he's been a weapon. Like I said, that's almost unheard of for your long snapper to be one of your leading tacklers on your punt team, and he's done that. We've used him in a different role than most people use their long snappers. I mean, he's been a part of our coverage team. People are trying to block him, like TCU, without question, will try to block him this week, hold him up at the line of scrimmage. And so he's been a weapon for us, and he will be missed. And I think it's the reason I brought him up, because he's played at a high level. You know, that's what you want. You want guys to play at a high level, and he's done that consistently.
Neal, Gary's defense, you're talking about the cyclical nature. 4-2-5 was really strange for a while, and like half man, half zone, and pattern matching was strange for a while. And used to panic that a quarterback hadn't seen it. Is that even a thing anymore? Like, can Jarrett draw upon just film and experience?
I think there's less pattern matching in this league than other leagues, because you get so much of that variation in the 2 and 3 safeties, you know, and teams spot drop out of that. And so I think what TCU's done probably better than anybody is, and I said this on the teleconference, is they take away what you're good at. So whatever your best patterns are, you know, they're going to match those. They're going to try to take those away. Same thing in the run game. They're going to move the front to take away whatever the best things that you do in the run game. And they were definitely one of the first defensive staffs that really worked pattern match and worked these match coverages and things like that. And they've continued to do that. And he's always had 1 to 2 really good pass rushers, and they've always been able to cover. man to man, and this year's no different. Gladney Kid's special. They rotate the other side, but they've done a good job.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you all.